Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We now enter the time when the Mughal regime decided to essentially pay off the Singhs in an attempt to stop them harassing the regime. This was a common technique used by the Mughals, and we'll learn more about this in the upcoming weeks when they present a Nawabi to the Khalsa. False promises of peace were offered along with land and money to get the Singhs to go back to their homes. Sangat Ji, why did they do this? How does the Mughal regime benefit by offering money, land and power to the Singhs? Well, they thought that if the Singhs have been given land and left to live in peace, fir hor ki chaida, maybe the Singhs would stop attacking the regime. Maybe they would become complacent and weak. They'll stop practicing Shastra Vidya as there wouldn't be a requirement for it. They wanted to get rid of the need to remain tayar bar tayar, so that in the future the Khalsa would be easy targets for them. This was the long-term goal of the regime. And Sangat Ji, for a few years the Khalsa was scattered all over Punjab. But this battle of 1726 was so inspiring that it woke up the Panth at the time and made the Khalsa get together again. At that time, Sangat Ji, this was the first battle after Baba Banda Singh's times. The centre of the Sakhi is Nihung Singh Baba Tara Singh Ji of the Pind Vaan. Kavi Ratan Singh Ji explains the great jeevan of Baba Ji and how they would wake up in the early hours of Amrit Vela, always doing Simran or reciting Gurbani. Some say that 18 hours of the day he would be reciting Bani. Jat Sat Rakhan Wale, very strong and rat, always wearing a Neela Bana, his body and Dumala always covered in Shastras, being Tayar Bar Tayar. He was blessed with Amrit from the hands of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj themselves, and always had faith in Bani. He was a Singh who would always stick to his word no matter what. If he did a bhajan, he lived by it till his dying breath. He was born in all the saintly qualities, but he was a great soldier too, always ready to fight oppression. He did not fear death at all. He was always prepared for battle. His kamar kasa would be tied at all times, waiting for the enemy. He was a true Nihung Singh of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji. Sangat Ji, you may notice Gursikhs who tie a kamar kasa, and one of the reasons they tie a kamar kasa is practically to keep Shastra. But the symbolic meaning behind tying a kamar kasa is that it represents that you're tayar, you're ready to travel. And what I mean by travel is to depart this world, to be Shaheed, always ready to give your head and die in the battlefield. That's why you tie a kamar kasa. His sabha was of such that he was always ready to give up his life. Initially, he was part of Baba Banda Singh's army when leaving for Punjab, but eventually he settled back down in his village. The Sarkar wanted him to farm land and live in peace and basically do his Simran and Langar and leave the regime alone. But Babaji would respond in such a way that his Shaheedi would awaken the Panth. The Sarkar on one hand would say, you can have all this land. And on the other hand, Baba Tara Singh Ji would say, what are you on about? Ita Sardaya, ita Khalsa da Raja ite. This is already my land. The whole world belongs to my Pita Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. He wouldn't recognize their so-called Raj. Instead, he remained hot-headed, the exact opposite of what the regime wanted. Babaji made a bunga on the land and stayed there. Singhs would do farming together and any earnings made went towards the langar for the Sangat. Singhs living there would recite Bani and practice Shastra Vidya all day long, as well as help with the farming. Singhs would come and go, but at any given time, Babaji always had around 15 Singhs with him. In a nearby village, Nushera, lived a corrupt Chaudhary called Sahib Rai, who hated the Singhs and would trouble the local Sangat. Sahib Rai owned 2 high pedigree horses, and he would just let the horses graze on the Singhs' land. Imagine working for months, growing crops, just for this Chaudhary to come along and destroy it all. 2 Singhs in the area approached him and explained that Sahib Rai, we just make enough to feed our children. We work hard and honestly. And if you need feed for your horses, just let us know. Otherwise, please tie up your horses and let us be. Sangat ji, what was Sahib Rai's response? He said, कि हम चाहे मुने तुम सिर के वार, कि you come here asking for favors? He swore at them and disrespected the Singhs further by saying, you want me to tie my horses? Come here, I'll cut your case, make ropes out of them, and then I'll tie my horses. Sun Singh ne tan man lagi aag. Sangat ji, no Singh can handle Guru ka more case being mocked. Singhan nu biras chad gaya, akkha lal ho gaya. They could take his head off there and then, but then they thought about their families, living in the village and how they would be troubled. The two Singhs left, with Sahib Rai still mocking and laughing at them. The Singhs then went to Gursikhs called Baghel Singh and Amar Singh, two great warriors of their time. Enough was enough. Now was time for action. After hearing about Sahib Rai's disrespect, they rato-rat took both of the horses from the stables. They travelled throughout the night to a village far away in the Malwa region, where another Gursikh, Lakmeer Singh, was waiting for them, who went on and sold the horses. The money received by selling the Ghode was then brought back and donated to the langar of Nihung Baba Tara Singh ji. And Bhai Baghel Singh and Bhai Amar Singh also stayed there under the protection of Babaji. When Sahib Rai woke up and realised his horses were missing, he sent his best detectives, who eventually traced the money back to Baba Tara Singh's bunga. Sahib Rai, enraged, came to the bunga and demanded to hand over the thieves. Tara Singh, you are protecting them. Give them over at once, or else wait and see what will happen. I have many friends in the regime. He was referring to Zakaria Khan of Lahore. But who can threat Baba Tara Singh ji, that Gursikh who was not even scared of death? Babaji responded saying, you're the real thief, troubling your own people? It was bound to happen. When we took Amrit, we promised to fight oppression. I'm not scared of your threats. Nawab nu sadla for all I care. Asi tayara. Baba Tara Singh ji sorted them out there and then. Let's just say Sahib Rai Chaudhary left there crying with a few of his teeth missing. Sangat ji, first Sahib Rai went to Zafal Beg, the head of a nearby town, Patti. He twisted the truth and said that this Tara Singh is collecting his own tax. The ruler of Patti got angry. How dare these Singhs? How many Singhs are there? Sahib Rai explained that there's only a handful in Pind Vaan, and they don't even have a castle, nor do they have any proper weapons. Zafal Beg sent 25 cavalry and 80 soldiers on foot, a total of 105 of his Fauj, to Pind Vaan. They decided to attack at night, thinking that the Singhs would be asleep. But of course, these Singhs were firm in their Amrit Vela. Arising early, some were reciting Gurbani and others were busy in Seva. Bhai Baghel Singh ji, one of the Singhs who took the horses initially, had just finished his Nitnem and was outside a short distance away from the bunga when he spotted the forces approaching. At that point, Baghel Singh thought to himself, do I go back and warn the Singhs or do I fight? उन्हें सोचा कि सिंह कहेंगे डर मुड़ आया इनने ही तो दंगो उठाया. The Singhs would think, well, he's the one who caused this and now he's running back to us like a coward. So Bhai Baghel Singh ji decided to stay and fight, and that the sound of jakare and guns being fired will alert the rest of the Singhs. Bhai Baghel Singh shouted out to the army, I'm the one you're looking for. As he moved forward, Sahib Rai Chaudhary recognised Baghel Singh and cried out to Hakam Khan, the leader of the army, telling him that there's Baghel Singh, a big troublemaker. And he's the thief who stole the horse, and if we kill him, the Singh's strength would be halved. As the Fauj attacked, Baghel Singh jumped into them like a sher armed with a talwar and a barsha. It was pitch black darkness and the enemy couldn't see him. They started shooting and attacking each other. One sher of Guruji caused chaos, wiping many out before being wounded as well. Eventually, Bhai Baghel Singh was surrounded. Purja purja kat mara kabahu na chhada khet. He was shot from all directions and he was Shaheed, fighting till his last breath like a true warrior. The Singhs at the bunga heard the noise and came rushing to help Baghel Singh. And seeing more Guru Ke Singh approaching, Hakam Khan, fearing for his life, called the attack off. The Singhs won the first battle of Pind Vaan. Zafar Beg's two nephews were killed by Baghel Singh, along with many other soldiers. Zafar Beg went crying, holding the dead body of his nephew, and placed it at the feet of the notorious Zakaria Khan in Lahore. What does Zakaria Khan do? We will find out in the next week's episode. Please forgive me for my mistakes. Lekha Katha hai na shoot hai, kin kin poolan har, baksan har, baksla, nanak par utar, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.